Well, it's one thing to talk about it, but it's entirely another to experience it.
Oh, come on. We came out of this one all right.
Yeah, just barely.
What do you think being a police commissioner was all about?
I don't know. I suppose I thought it had more to do with political fighting than hand-to-hand combat with lunatics in hospital cafeterias.
All in a day's work.
Yes, that's what I have to get used to, isn't it? I suppose your job is going to put you in a lot of danger.
And I hope often.
I wish you were kidding.
Look. Does it really bother you?
It does make me a little nervous, yes.
Oh, police work isn't all that bad. Oh. On the other hand, there are times when it gets properly up my nose. Hello.
Commissioner Scorpio?
Yes.
This is Hector Gerald. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Not at all. You up early?
Well, I apologize for calling at this hour, but I have the most remarkable news. And I knew you'd want to hear it right away.
I can't believe it.
I hardly can myself.
I mean, you've actually finished?
The Prometheus disc is a reality, at long last.
I hadn't realized you were so close to completing it.
Neither had I. But these things happen. Inspiration can strike at the oddest times.
Yours must have hit last night.
As a matter of fact, it did. In the middle of the night. A time I always get my best ideas.
Well, whatever the time, I'm glad it came to you this quickly.
So strange. Suddenly, the idea just popped into my head.
I've had the same experience in my work.
Creativity is such a mystery. Its wonders never cease to amaze me.
Well, may I be the first to congratulate you.
Or perhaps you should save that until we see how well it works. For now, let's just say that the Prometheus disc is no longer an old man's dream.
You have some doubts about its eventual success?
Not anymore. I still have a few minor corrections and, of course, some tests, but those are to be expected. I certainly don't see any serious problems. In fact, I think I can promise you with all due modesty that my disc will be a great success for this country.
Precisely why security now is more important than ever.
Unfortunately. Don't misunderstand me. I know it's necessary, and I'm grateful. But it's ironic that with my greatest success comes my least freedom.
Hopefully not for long. We'll need to keep you under wraps until the testing of the disc is completed.
So what do you want me to do?
You stay where you are. You wait for me in your lab, and I'll be right over.
Very well.
You going out?
Yeah, as soon as I get dressed.
Do you really think that's a good idea?
It's unavoidable.
But you've hardly given yourself a chance to get over the gunshot wound.
To do it on the run.
You really should take the day off.
Not today. Too important.
So is your health.
I'm fine. Really. I've got to call Connie. Damn.
Got her number?
No, her schedule. She's in New York doing some security work for Luke's casino. I'll have to tell her later.
Where are you going?
I have to get dressed, and you better do the same thing.
What's the hurry?
I may need you. When you get dressed, you meet me down here, all right?
What am I dressing for? Lunch in a nice restaurant or sneaking around in the bushes looking for spies?
I'd say be prepared for anything. It's so small to do all of that.
Not only does the disc store solar energy, it actually enhances it.
Well, how do you mean?
It maximizes the potential energy to such an extent that this disc can actually propel a rocket big enough to put a satellite into orbit.
It's incredible.
In fact, you'll see it do just that during the exposition. Now, the satellite our rocket will put into orbit will only be about 8 feet in diameter, but it will make the point.
And then some.
What's even more mind-boggling is that this disc is really just a prototype. In the not-too-distant future, we'll discover ways to create larger discs which will provide energy for entire cities.
It's hard to imagine.
Think what it would mean to mankind if we could release the world from its reliance on fossil fuels, not to mention the dangers of nuclear power. Imagine what a poverty-stricken nation could do with the millions that it will save when suddenly its energy needs are met at a fraction of their present costs.
What you said hit the nail right in the head. This disc here could indeed change the world. That's an awesome achievement.
An enormous responsibility.
Yeah, well, you don't have to tell me that. I can imagine what would happen if that fell into some unfriendly hands.
I don't envy you your job. Just how do you secure something like that?
Well, you put it in a place where you can keep it under constant surveillance and when nobody can get to it without your consent.
Well, isn't that what we have here?
Not quite. I'd feel a lot happier if we had this thing transported to the WSB in Washington. For something this important, I can't think of a more secure place.
Well, I suppose you're right, but it'll have to wait a few days.
Last-minute adjustments?
Well, just some minor tests I need to run. I want to be sure the disc can maintain a consistent power surge. It wouldn't do any good to have any fluctuations during its debut performance at the exposition.
What about your notes?
You want to give them to the WSB as well?
Yes.
Well, I don't see why you couldn't. I don't need the notes to conduct these tests, and they're certainly crucial to the project. They contain all the equations required to create the disc.
Could someone duplicate your achievement without them?
Theoretically, but I'd say it's highly unlikely, almost impossible.
Good. Then I'll have them placed on microfilm and I'll find a safe way to transport the whole lot to Washington.
Sounds simple enough?
Let's hope it proves to be. The last thing we need at this point in time are complications. Sorry, love. I got a bit held up.
I was beginning to think you'd forgotten all about me.
That you? Not a chance. You all set?
For what?
I need you to run a little errand for me.
An errand? I thought I was going to get to play secret agent.
Nothing quite that dramatic.
Well, what do you want me to do?
I want you to go to Wyndham's and do a bit of shopping.
But I don't need anything.
It's never stopped you in the past.
Be nice, or you can find yourself another spy.
All right, no. You're the only person that can help me.
By going shopping?
Yeah. I want you to buy some makeup.
Why?
Look, the less you know about this at this point, the better.
Aha! They always say that when they're sending their agents off on secret missions.
Well, I wouldn't know anything about that.
What kind of makeup?
Well, I don't know. Find something you like.
Is that all you want me to do?
Yeah, and I want you to wear that big wide-brimmed hat, the one you had on the other day.
Why?
Makes you look more mysterious.
Don't I get to use any passwords or anything?
Not this time, but I want you to listen to me very carefully. When you get to Wyndham's, you go straight to the makeup counter.
Which one?
Doesn't matter. When you get to the makeup counter, take off your hat and you put it down, and you turn away, brush your hair a few times, turn back, and put on the hat.
Then what?
Buy yourself a nice big bottle of perfume as a present.
Oh, what a letdown. You said to be prepared for anything. I was expecting intrigue, danger, exotic locations. What would I get? Wyndham.
Well, it may not sound like much, but believe me, it's very important. Now, where's that hat? I want to check it out.
It's in the closet. I'm going to fix my hair.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is the right one. Let's have a look here. Ah, yes. It'll look just right. Okay. Yeah. Let's put that on like so. Just hoover it back a little bit. Yeah, there we are.
So when do I leave on this glamorous mission?
Oh, right away. The limo's waiting at the front for you.
10-4, or whatever it is,
Oh.
5 say to each other.
I almost forgot. I've got to fly down to Washington this afternoon.
For how long?
No, not for long. Won't be late when I get back. Early this evening. You look absolutely beautiful.
I feel silly.
Why? It's something you've done 1,000 times before.
Yes, but never not knowing why.
You'll be fine. Thank you.
Hello?
All systems go.
You've arranged transportation?
The microfilm will be safely on its way within the hour.
Excellent.
Now, I want you to meet me at the airport. Make a big show of wishing me luck in Washington and tell me to be careful. And to call when I get in. I want the whole number here, just in case we're being watched.
Well, you're certainly going to great lengths to make this work.
Better to do too much than too little.
I feel the same way about my research.
And it shows in your achievements. I just hope I'm as successful today.
You will be.
After you leave the airport, you go back to your lab and wait for my call. I have one more task for you.
Oh? What is that?
I'll let you know later. If I have any trouble, you won't have to do it.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
Well, how'd it go?
Without a hitch. Almost too easy.
Is Holly all right?
As far as I know, she'd make a good agent. She did exactly as she was told.
She never saw you.
Not a glimpse. She doesn't know a thing.
Good. The less she knows about this, the better.
Well, I wouldn't worry. From what I've heard, I'd say your little scheme has worked perfectly. You do have the microfilm. Well, let's get going. I don't want this lying around my office, Robert. There. Oh, I'm leaving for the day.
If anyone calls?
I'm seeing Commissioner Scorpio off to the airport. Oh, no, better yet. If there's no one here to answer the phone, then we can't take any messages, right?
You mean I can have the rest of the day off?
Why not?
Thank you, Mr. Valentine. I'll finish this letter and go.
Right. Oh, be sure to lock up.
Did everything work out all right?
Perfectly.
I was worried. I did exactly what you said, but nothing happened.
You were fine.
We have company.
Don't let me interrupt. Now, did I get the time wrong for our appointment, or are you late?
Oh, sorry, I had to make a little run down to Washington.
I'll leave you two to your business.
I love.
Washington, eh? Home of the WSB?
Yeah, I had to supervise a special delivery. Gerald has finished the disc.
Really? I didn't realize he was that close.
Neither did he, but I'm not complaining. However, the sooner it's stashed in WSB headquarters, the better. Have a seat.
So you went down to take care of the arrangements?
Yeah, that and to supervise delivery of the microfilm with his most critical notes on them. That's about to be placed into Ballantyne's safe as well.
Okay, but what about the original notes? Couldn't somebody still get hold of those?
Not for long. I'll be taking care of that shortly.
Well, you've been busy. Sorry I missed all the excitement. But I was in New York handling some business for Luke.
How'd it go?
Very well. And when I got back, I let him think that he had talked me into working at the casino as a dealer.
What?
That way I'll be able to monitor the security system and make sure it's working, and it's going to give me a chance to keep an eye on everything else that's going on there.
Who's going to watch you?
What do you mean?
I'm not sure I like you being this involved with Luke.
Are we talking professionally or personally?
Both.
Don't you think you should at least make an effort not to let your personal feelings interfere with your professional judgment?
This has nothing to do with the way I feel about Luke.
Oh, no.
It's what I know about him that worries me. He doesn't miss much. I'd hate to have to try to put something over him.
You don't. That's my problem. And to be honest with you, I kind of like the idea of having to be a dealer. And I definitely like the idea of getting to work with Luke.
Don't confuse one with the other.
You should talk. You, the man who originated mixing business with pleasure. Besides, as the head of a security consulting firm, I think it makes perfect sense that I should want to stick around and see how my system's working out.
Sure, it makes sense, but it may not make enough to fool him.
But you yourself said that the casino is going to become a real gathering place for foreign agents. Now, what better vantage point could I have? You should be congratulating me and not making me feel like I'm walking into the Coliseum to face the lions.
I just hope you have a way with animals.
Wait and see. I'll have this one eating out of the palm of my hand.
Yes, everything in Washington went as planned, Dr. Gerald. Package arrived safely and is now secured. No, not quite. There's that one other thing I need for you to do. You have to burn all your notes. I know it seems a little frightening, but they're all on the microfilm, and I can assure you it's not going anywhere. Yeah, I understand. Good night.
Any thoughts about dinner?
Yep, let's have a late one.
Not hungry?
There's one more piece of business I have to take care of this evening.
Did anybody ever tell you you work too hard?
Not that I can think of, but don't let that stop you.
What could you possibly have left to do tonight?
Oh, rather delicate operation that requires your assistance.
Again? You keep this up, you're going to have to put me on the payroll.
Hey, but just think of the benefits this job has.
Name one.
I'll do better than that. Come up to the bed with me and I'll show you.
What?
Now, this is a hush-hush operation. You must not breathe a word to anybody.
It's your idea of business.
Absolutely. All business doesn't have to be work.
Are you serious or what?
Come upstairs. Find out. Come on. You know where the bedroom is. That room faces yours. Forget dinner. We'll eat out. I better bring it in. Don't roll at me. No, I...
You're home early.
Yeah, the old shoulder's a bit stiff.
Oh. Oh, we're supposed to be having dinner with Celia and Grant tonight.
My favourite newlyweds.
If you'd like to cancel.
No. It's quite all right. Besides, we have to eat.
You don't like them very much, do you?
What, America's darlings? No, come on. I'm honoured to dine in their presence.
Okay.
Oh, no. I'm just kidding, really.
You make it sound like such a terrible obligation.
No, look, I'm sorry. I'm just a bit tired. Anyway, where would you like to eat? Side room?
No, I was thinking something a little less formal.
I see. Kelly's.
What's wrong?
Oh, nothing.
Well,
No.
something about the way you said, Kelly's.
Well, you see, I learnt down at headquarters today that they're planning on throwing a little surprise party for Luke there. Maybe you'd like to drop in.
Would you?
What do you think?
I think that we are going to the floating rib this evening for a hopefully not too strained evening with Celia and Grant.
Hi, everyone. I hope we're not too late.
No, we just got here.
No need to rush off to the table just let's have a drink.
All right. A Chardonnay, please.
Scotch rocks.
Robert still hasn't heard about your honeymoon.
Yeah, Andy's, wasn't it?
Probably. We didn't get to see very much of them.
No, unfortunately, I was called back.
It's tough, right?
They did have a few adventures, though. Celia was telling me about the strange American they met. What was his name?
Fletcher. And so for some reason, he just attached himself to us.
Just what you need in your honeymoon.
Yes, you remember him, darling? Every time we turned around, there he was.
Yep, good old Fletch.
Well, maybe he had his eye on you, Celia.
No, I don't think so. It was Grant he seemed most interested in.
Really?
Listen, would you excuse me, please? I'm afraid I'd better head off right now and get Dr. Gerald.
Okay.
Save us some seats, don't
Excuse me, folks. Your table is ready.
Oh, thank you.
Shall we?
You go ahead. I want to make a quick trip to the ladies' room.
We'll send up a flare.
Thanks. Please do. I'm getting worried.
Oh, don't. I'm sure everything's all right.
Remember the sneezing attack that he had, you know, and forgetting about the party? It's probably the same thing now. Grant's probably all over town trying to find it.
I know, but Gerald was supposed to meet Grant at the university.
Well, do you have the phone number?
Grant probably has it. I suppose I could get it from information, though.
Then all we need's a phone.
Excuse me, Commissioner. There's a call for you at the desk.
I won't be but a second.
That's probably Grant. Oh, well. Alone at last.
Doesn't it bother you, him being called away to the phone all the time?
Not really. It's part of the territory, I suppose. You can either fight it or accept it. And I found it infinitely easier to accept it.
Suppose I will, too, in time.
Well, look at it this way. So long as Grant is the doctor, he's going to be called away at odd moments. I mean, would you rather he gave up his profession or you were occasionally inconvenienced?
If only it were occasionally.
Oh, you'll get used to it.
Yeah, that's what Grant's always saying.
All right, it's a bit of bad news. Gerald's been mugged, apparently. We're on the assumption that it was a drug addict. Apparently, they found a guy in another lab looking for drugs.
Oh, how is he?
Well, Grant found him. He's unconscious. He took him over to General. But there's a security problem here, and I have to get down to the lab.
Well, I'll come with you.
Now, look,
Yeah,
no,
I'll go down to the
really,
hospital.
that's not necessary. Grant's going to have his hands full, and besides, love, they're not going to allow you in the lab. So, look, why don't you both stay here, enjoy your dinner. And when I find out a word, I'll either phone the house or here. All right?
Is there a problem, Mr. Scorpio?
No. If you just take this, it should settle everything. The ladies will be dining alone this evening, but if I could make a few more calls.
Of course.
Thank you.
It never ends.
Okay. Everybody, this could be Tiffany. Keep your fingers crossed. Shh. Kelly's. Scorpio. No offense, Robert, but we were kind of expecting somebody else.
I understand, love.
I thought about inviting you, but I guess we should have, shouldn't we?
Look, that's all right. The reason I'm calling is I need to talk to Connie.
Well, she's not here. I suppose you tried her home, haven't you?
Yeah, there and everywhere else. You're my last hope.
Well, she might be here later. I understand she's going to be accompanying the guest of honor.
Good. And if you see her, could you have her come to Gerald's lab immediately? Tell her it's an emergency.
Okay, now what if that doesn't work?
Tell her Gerald was mugged and is in hospital. The lab was unattended for an indeterminate amount of time.
Okay, I'll tell her.
Thanks, love. I'll talk to you later.
Robert,
Yeah.
I wish you were going to be here tonight.
Thanks.
So long.
You know, we have been over every inch of this place. There has been no break in the security.
Well, maybe it was a malfunction.
No, that's impossible. I mean, you know about the backup systems.
Could it have been tampered with?
No, it doesn't look like it. No, he couldn't have.
What?
Robert, the only explanation is that he left the door open. Look, have you called the hospital?
Grant says he's still unconscious.
All right, what about our junkie friend?
Well, I did the preliminary questioning myself. He's not saying too much, so I have to assume he's what he says he is. Maybe he was after drugs, maybe he was after equipment, maybe something else. We're just going to have to talk to Gerald.
And now all we have to find out about is the disc. The only person who can tell us whether it's intact or not is Gerald.
Well, at least the equations are safe in Washington.
True, but the disc is here, or was here.
Can't you get into that safe?
Let's wait and see how Gerald pulls through first. Like it or not, we are nothing more than glorified security agents. It's his project. Look, I don't think this is such a hot idea.
Look, will you be quiet? I'm trying to concentrate down here.
It's a violation.
We're not going to steal anything.
But it's Gerald's project. I mean, it's almost...
You're about to say dishonest. You of all... I don't want to hear that. Not from you, baby, all right? Now, I've got to find out if the disc is in here or not. Now, you shut up. Where was I? All right.
Well, it sure is taking you long enough.
1 minute you don't want me to do it. Now I'm not fast enough. Now, what is it with you?
I remember when you used to crack those things in 2 seconds flat.
Yeah, well, good living's made me soft.
Yeah, senile.
I'll give you senile.
Okay, I'll cancel your reservation at the retirement home. Is it there? Safe. I feel I should say a prayer of thanks.
Well, let's lock it up first.
Well,
Yeah.
there's no chance I can get back to the party. Why don't I take you out for a drink someplace?
Well, thank you anyway, but I'm not ready to close this case just yet.
Yeah, but the disc is safe. What else is there to worry about?
I have a few more questions for our junkie friend. First, I want to find out what he was doing here. Secondly, if he knew Gerald. I only wanted to look at the disc just before I got heavy with him.
Well, I didn't want that drink anyway. Look, why don't we head on down to headquarters? You can talk to the guy.
No need, he's doing cold turkey in the next room. Bert, bring him in, will you?
Oh, I get to see our police commissioner in action.
Well, I'm sure you'll recognize some of the tactics, a few little things I picked up in the field.
Field training, my favorite 3 months.
How did you ever get through that?
Oh, I made a few promises to the OIC.
All of which you kept, I'm sure.
Of course not. What sort of girl do you take me for?
A bloody clever one. Oh,
honey. Commissioner, we weren't able to get much more out of him.
Keep telling him, man. Give me a cigarette. I'll tell you what you want to know.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's like I'm real hooked on nicotine.
Anybody have a cigarette?
Here you go.
Thanks. I thought you were having a nicotine fit.
Yeah, it's not my brand.
Yeah, let's get past all of this. Right, let's get down to it.
Yeah, I told you, I didn't hit that old dude.
I say you did.
So lock me up?
I plan to. Just as soon as I find out what you were doing here and what you got.
Nothing.
No drugs?
No, I don't do that stuff.
Really? Well, what do we got here? I haven't seen this many tracks since Union Station. Now, admit it, you're a dog pit.
All right, so maybe I am, man, but I didn't get nothing if that's what you're after.
You didn't take anything?
Your boy searched me. What more do you want?
After you left, we found syringes in this sock. He got them from the lab down the hall.
Okay. Take him to HQ and book him, and then I want to check down on his record, see what else you can find.
You'll be here?
At home or the hospital. I've got to talk to Gerald before we can do anything else.
All right, I'll be in touch. Come on, Carl, let's get him out of here. Let's go.
Well, he seems legitimate. If you can call a junkie legitimate.
Yeah, well, those needle marks were real enough, all right. But let's not be fooled. We know what lengths the opposition will go to.
So you think it's still not a coincidence?
Not until I talk to Gerald.
I can always tell when I've had too much coffee.
You find it hard to get to sleep?
No, the exact opposite. I literally pass out.
How about another nightcap?
Great. Great, as long as it doesn't have any coffee in it.
Brandy?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I am so glad that Gerald didn't get seriously hurt. Grant would have been devastated.
Yes, I've noticed how close they've become.
Yes, it's strange, isn't it? Grant's attachment for Gerald. I know they knew each other before, but their lives have gone in such different directions.
But that doesn't mean the friendship has to die, though.
No, I know. It's more than a friendship, though, I think.
You mind?
Well, yes, I shouldn't, though, should I? It's just the time he spends with him. Could be spending it with me.
You have your whole lives ahead of you.
I know. I keep telling myself that. But it's just, sometimes when I get jealous, I can't control myself.
Yes, I noticed you have the same trouble with anger sometimes.
Yes. When I get mad,
Anxiety.
Anxiety, anger, jealousy, you name the emotion, I have trouble with it.
No doubt about it. You're certainly a woman of extremes.
Was it so terrible? Grant said that that's what first attracted him to me.
Sure, that's what he finds exciting in you, but I suppose every now and then a little moderation might help.
Any moderation would help.
So, why don't you do something about it?
I try, I really do. I say just keep it all inside. Just don't react at all. Swallow your pride for a moment.
Right, think about the other people.
You're right, I'm selfish.
Oh, I didn't say that.
No, I know, I did, because it's true. When I made that big pass for Jimmy Lee, I didn't think about Grant. I didn't think about the possible repercussions. I didn't even think about Jimmy Lee's feelings. I just did it.
And you suffered the consequences. So just forget about it. Put it behind you. Like you have to do with your feelings of jealousy for Professor Gerald.
You make it sound so easy.
If only it were. Still, once you make a decision, you have to live with it.
Easy for you, maybe.
No, you know how difficult it was for me with Robert. But really, once you make a decision, you have to make the best of it. You never know. You might enjoy it.
I'm sorry, no visitors.
I'm the police commissioner. I have Dante's permission.
It's all right, nurse.
All right, but only for a moment. 2 minutes. Thank you.
Well, how do you feel, Professor?
I'll feel a lot better if you tell me the disc is safe.
It is.
In your safe where it belongs.
How did you manage to...
Oh, Robert's just an expert with tumblers. Do you know, I think he sandpapers his fingers at night before he goes to bed.
I keep forgetting how multi-talented you both are.
Unfortunately, we're having a spot of trouble piecing together exactly what happened in the lab tonight.
Well, that makes 2 of us. Or should I say 3?
Well, why don't you tell us what happened? Now, our biggest question is how the security curtain was broken.
It wasn't.
But you were found in the lab.
Yes. I went back in there to put away some of my files, and I guess I know I left the door open.
What were you thinking?
Obviously, I wasn't.
Professor, once again, I have got to remind you how important it is to follow our security instructions.
Especially at this point. You have to be constantly vigilant.
Definitely at this point. Now that your disc is complete.
Well, I don't think we'll have any more problems, because I have a constant reminder to keep on my toes.
What's that?
This rather large bump at the back of my head.
Still, you have got to be extremely careful. You can't let anyone in that lab, and I don't care if you trust them with your life. They are not to go in that lab.
I understand.
I hope you do. There's a lot riding on these final weeks.
Believe me, Mr. Scorpio, no one is more aware of that than I.
Shame on you, Doctor. I thought I said no visitors.
Well, you know, official business. We got Dante's permission.
I'm only kidding, Commissioner. You have every right to be here. In fact, perhaps I'm the one who's intruding.
No, that's all right. We're finished here.
As a matter of fact, I would like to have a chat to you later.
Certainly. Just as soon as I finish my rounds, all right?
Sure.
Great. We'll meet you in the cafeteria.
Good.
You take care.
From now on, you can be sure I will.
Well,
Robert.
front desk said that we'd find you here. Hello, Natalie. How are you?
Yes, Commissioner, hello.
You both know Connie Townley.
Yes. How are you, Connie?
I believe so.
Yes, we met the other day at the university.
Yes, when I was covering for you while you were on your honeymoon.
Right.
I'm surprised you're here this late.
Oh, I'm just a pushover, I'm afraid. Today I'm covering for a respiratory therapist. And Grant told me about Gerald, so I asked him to stop in.
I see.
We'd hate to ask you to repeat your story again, but in your own words, could you tell us what happened?
Now, as I understand, you were picking up Gerald for our dinner party.
Yes, he asked me to meet him at the lab. I had just gotten there, the door was open, and I found the professor unconscious on the floor. I was just about to call for help when the security guard showed up.
Do you recall the time?
I'm sorry, Robert, I didn't look at my watch.
Did you see anybody else in the vicinity?
No, no one.
Did anything seem out of place to you?
I wouldn't really know, Connie. It's the professor's lab, not mine.
Grant, how long were you with the professor before the security guard showed up?
How long?
Yeah,
A minute, maybe two.
before the guard showed up.
Yes, I was checking his pulse and his condition.
I see. Well, nothing new.
Yeah, thanks for your time, Grant.
I'm sorry I couldn't be of more help, Robert.
Oh, as I understand it, Celia's at our house.
Well, last I heard she was.
Well, do you have a lift, or can I give you a ride?
No, I came in the ambulance. A ride is exactly what I need.
This way.
Thank you. Good night, Natalie.
Good night, Doctor. The thing is... Yeah?
The thing is that husbands are like a favorite pair of shoes.
You've had too much to drink, Collie.
When the soles wear out, you don't throw them away, you just get them resold.
No, I don't think I understand your point.
You're right.
I am?
Yes, I have had too much to drink, and I'm not making any sense whatsoever.
No. Well, that's all right. I wouldn't understand you anyway if you're making sense. I'm too tired.
You know, I really thought that at least one of them would have showed up by now.
Well, you know, if you just get me a blanket, I will camp out right here.
I could drive you home.
No. In your condition?
Good point. Good point. Well, I could make us another nightcap.
Well, evening, ladies.
Oh, it's early morning.
Huh?
Morning. Goodness, holy smokes, it is. Well, that's why I'm going to take Celia home. Come along, darling. Yeah, what have you two been up to?
I wonder.
There you go. You take these, and I'll take this, and Holly and Robert.
I'll call you in the morning.
Okay, but
I'm
late.
very sorry. I'll
Make
get
it
another one of
about-
those.
Mind how you go.
Don't make it what?
Good night. Be careful who you pick up there. Bye-bye.
Some night.
Okay, give us some details.
Oh, too many unanswered questions. All right, we've established the fact that security wasn't broken. I mean, Gerald himself admitted to leaving the lab door open.
Do you know who hit him?
At this moment, it would appear to be a junkie.
Oh, looking for drugs. Robert?
What?
You're worried about something, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't know. There's too many loose ends. Question marks. Maybe the whole thing was a coincidence. On the other hand, maybe somebody was hanging about, waiting for something to happen, looking for an opportunity. Oh, I'm not sure.
Well, the day's over, so you should just try and forget about it.
Oh, that feels good.
Good.
But I know something that's gonna feel a whole lot better. You know, you're kind of cute when you're drunk.
I'm not drunk. A little tipsy, perhaps, but a long way from drunkenness.
In that case, it's a waste of time. I'm trying to take advantage of you.
Since when did you give up so easily?
Well, I don't want to force myself on you.
Go ahead.
Well, what have we got here? Invitation? Challenge? Threat?
A request.
Oh, well, in that case.
Oh, don't.
I'm sorry, love. I told Bert to call here if there are any important developments. Ah, Scorpio.
Oh, Robert, I hope I didn't wake you.
No,
Oh, I interrupted something?
none of your business.
Well, if you'd like me to call back a little later.
What is it, Bert?
Okay, down to business. You were right. That guy is definitely a junkie. The lab tests confirm it.
Any previous?
No, all I've got here, a couple of minor charges, misdemeanors, nothing of much significance.
So what are you going to do with him?
Well, we booked him. We're holding him downstairs.
Okay, that'll do for the moment. We'll check into it more tomorrow. Listen, grab some sleep. I'll call you.
You too.
Well, our culprit is more or less what he says he is. A common, ordinary, everyday junkie.
Good. We can go to bed then.
Yeah.
Robert?
Yeah, sure. No.
What?
I've got to go back down to headquarters. There's more to this than meets the eye. I've got to talk to this junkie again.
You can't wait until morning?
It could, but I can't. I'm sorry, love. I'll make it up to you.
Like a favorite pair of shoes. Almost.
We're not opening a supermarket. We're opening a casino. We can't afford to overlook these details.
Relax. The people will give a chance to iron out all the details. Where else are they going to go? We're the only game in town.
Yeah, which is why we're also concerned with making it work. I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
Oh, hello, Commissioner. How you doing? Glad you're taking an interest in our little business venture.
Oh, I'm more than just interested.
Any particular reason?
Why don't we discuss it over lunch?
Well, as you can see, I'm on a diet.
Yeah, well, this is why I'm telling you now. Give you plenty of time to work up an appetite.
Forget it. I said I'm on a diet.
You want to open your casino, you'll have lunch with me.
Commissioner, does there seem to be some kind of problem?
No, it's just routine. I'd like to discuss the gambling equipment, rigging on the tables, odds for the games, you know, stuff like that.
You can have all that information, Robert, but not over lunch.
Well, it's my job to make sure that everything is fair and above board.
Like I said, no lunch.
The Versailles room. Noon.
Have you given up sleeping altogether?
I'm beginning to wonder.
What kept you up all night this time?
I had to question the guy that mugged Gerald.
Did you get anywhere?
It was a dead end. He's pretty much what he says he is, a junkie looking for drugs.
Well, that must be a relief. At least he's not after Dr. Gerald's secret experiment,
But he
whatever that...
could have been. And that's what worries me. You know, Gerald's a brilliant scientist. His absent-mindedness now could cost him everything.
Have you spoken to him about it?
Oh, yeah. I warned him about security when I found out he left the lab door open. You know, he's got to be made to realize that he has to be more cautious than ever now. Especially now.
Why?
I can't tell you.
Wish I had more idea of what you're up against. I can't give you any information.
Sorry. It's for your own protection.
Why don't you go upstairs and get some sleep? You must be exhausted.
Can't do that. I've got a bit of paperwork to clear up, and then I've got to get ready for luncheon.
More business?
Of a different nature. I'm meeting Brock and Luke.
Why?
Oh, it's just routine. Gonna check up on what they're doing and see everything's in order.
What do you mean?
Well, there are 100 different ways to rig gambling in favor of the house. I just have to make sure that our boys don't tip it too far in their favor.
Do you think Luke would cheat people?
Not if I stay on top of him.
Oh, he'd never do that. You know how honest he is.
Do I?
There's something else going on here, isn't there? Why are you hassling him? What's the real reason?
That's it.
No. You know Luke better than that. This has nothing to do with gambling, does it?
Well, we understand your concern, Commissioner, and we appreciate it. But let me assure you now that Luke and I intend to run a straight operation.
And I intend to see that you do, which means I want reasonable odds on all games along the lines of what's happening in Vegas and Atlantic City.
You saw the figures?
Numbers on a piece of paper.
Well, why don't you wait until we're open and check it out for yourself?
Well, you see, I hate surprises. I'm also not crazy about rigged wheels, weights where they shouldn't be, mirrors strategically placed, and dealers that get a percentage of the table. In short, any little tricks employed in places where people want to get rich quick, just like casinos.
That will not happen in our place.
Prove me wrong.
This is an interesting concept of justice, Robert. Guilty until proven innocent?
No, wait a minute, gentlemen. Gentlemen, this started out as a business meeting among professionals, and I hope it's not going to degenerate into personal bickering.
Never happened.
Never.
Okay, the problem seems to be how we can assure you that we're not going to cheat anybody.
Well, I guess for the moment, I'll just have to take your word for it. But I'll be by later on to check out your personnel records and manufacturer's permits, etc.
Fine. Absolutely fine. Why don't you surprise us with a visit? You know, try to catch us off guard.
One thing. Just for the record, I'd like to inspect the premises before the casino opens. You know, check out the tables, look at the decks, stuff like that. Get a sneak preview of what's in store for the gamblers of Port Charles. You won't mind, will you?
Not at all, like I said. Surprise us.
Good. That won't be necessary, I don't think.
Well, it makes me know never mind. Whenever you get there, you will find that the operation is honest and legal. You know, I don't know no other way.
I got it.
No,
I asked you.
Please.
No, next time. I should take care of it. The rest is yours.
Thank you, sir.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for your time, and I'll be over later on in the week to inspect your premises.
Whenever you like.
Well, I'll call first.
It isn't necessary. But I'll tell you right now, you're going to be disappointed, Robert, because everything will be in order.
I hope so.
Waist fits really
Hi, Claudia.
Hi. Oh, that is great.
Don't you love it?
Oh,
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Holly, look at this. This is darling.
You know, you
Oh,
should
it
try this
is.
on, Claudia. This would really suit you.
It would.
Well, is it on sale is the question.
No. Oh, well,
no.
don't let that stop you.
Hey, I thought Grant had put you on a strict budget.
Grant is the one who suggested I come here in the first place. Now, I can't be responsible for his actions, can I?
Good thinking.
Oh, now this one would be fabulous for my party. Don't you love the color?
Party? Did someone say the magic word?
Yes, I'm throwing one.
When?
Where?
Well, actually, it's going to be at my apartment, but it just might be too small for the people I want to invite.
Oh, including us, I hope.
Well, of course you are. I hope you both will come.
Oh, we'd love to.
In fact, we can help you plan it. The Versailles room is great to give a party. You can close it all off and have a cocktail buffet.
Oh, yeah, but that sounds a little too expensive.
No, not really.
Well, then in that case, it sounds wonderful.
I'm even getting excited myself.
You know, you should go ahead and reserve the Versailles room now because it's awfully popular.
Oh, but Holly, I haven't even set a date.
Well, what are you waiting for? Get on in there and call him.
Well, push, I think I will.
Oh, let's see. Okay, now, what do you think? This is nice.
That is cute.
That's nice. I like that. Oh, and this one is
I
good.
think Robert would like that.
Well, now this is nice. This is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, well, it worked. And guess what? Brian's going to strangle me alive.
Oh, no, no, he won't. He might grumble a little bit. All men feel like they have to at first, but once you get him to the party, he'll love it.
Well, I hope it's right for him.
Will this be all?
Honey, I think that will be quite enough. Thank you.
Shall I put this on your mother's charge, or would you like to open an account of your own?
Oh, just go ahead and put it on my mother's account. I don't think she'll mind.
Hi.
Hello.
How was your day?
Long? Yours?
Boring. I did a little shopping with Celia, but my heart wasn't really in it.
Oh, where was it?
What?
Your heart. Was it at lunch with me, or maybe just sitting at my table?
Don't be ridiculous.
Well, don't you want to know how it went?
Only if you want to tell me.
What if I don't?
I want to know anyway.
It was very pleasant.
Did anything happen?
Oh, we talked business, if that's what you mean.
And you're satisfied?
For the time being, I checked over certain facts and figures on paper, and they made a great play out of promising me that the casino would be run cleanly. However, I am going to inspect it later this week.
So you still don't really trust him?
Look, love, I'm really only trying to do my job. I know you think I'm out to get Luke, but I would treat any other gambling operation exactly the same.
But this one's different. You know Luke wouldn't do anything wrong.
I don't know that anymore. Neither do you. Look, I know you think I'm out to persecute him.
No, I don't. I really don't.
Look, I don't think you know how you feel at the moment. I think you're confused. There was a while back there when I thought that you might have had all this together. But I think I overestimated myself.
Oh, Robert, you don't understand.
I wish I didn't. But I think I do. And I don't like it. One little bit. Have I told you lately how ravish and beautiful you are?
A whole minute ago, before the commercial.
Well, I guess I better make up for that.
The mayoral seat has been uncontested till now. Today's press conference comes as a surprise to City Hall. Luke Spencer will run his race on two major platforms.
Luke? For mayor?
Did you know he was running for
No, I didn't. It's the first I've heard of it. Legalize gambling. He knows I'm against it.
Building casino. My primary concern is for the good of the people of this city. I'll do my best during the campaign to demonstrate that to them, and I hope that come election day, they'll cast their votes for me. Now, gentlemen, if you don't have any more questions...
Good of the people. What a load of... I mean, he knows that gambling is the worst possible thing that can happen to poor Charles. I don't believe this guy can go out of his way this far to spite me. All the trouble I went to get rid of the organization and oust the mob. And what's this irresponsible jerk want to do? Give him a limo ride back into town again. He's determined to make life as difficult as possible for me. Oh, don't you have anything to say?
I don't know what to say.
Well, you must have an opinion on all of this.
It all comes as a bit of a surprise.
Ah, tell me about it. He must have just decided to do this. Otherwise, I would have heard rumblings about it downtown. Well?
Well, what?
Well, what do you think about all of this?
I don't know very much about politics.
It's not just to do with politics.
Maybe not. Perhaps that's why it's better if I just keep quiet and I don't say anything.
You mean to say you support him on all of this?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, I have plenty to say. And I intend to make sure that one Luke Spencer hears every bloody word. We have a little unfinished business of our own. I'd like to sort it out right now.
The trouble, officer. Am I double parked?
I want to talk to you right now.
Why don't I leave?
Oh, wait a minute. Don't you want to meet the police commissioner, Miss Townley, Robert Scorpio?
I'd like to talk to Mr. Spencer alone, please.
Of course.
This won't take long.
You want to reconsider the ramifications of all of this?
What's to consider? She's a very attractive woman.
I'm not talking about your hobbies. I mean, you're running for mayor, in particular, the gambling issue.
If you don't like it, don't vote for me. You can vote, can't you?
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you won't be bothered if I don't cast mine your way.
I'll try to get over it.
You know, I find this incredible to believe that you're this desperate to get even with me solely because I married Holly.
No. Your personal life is of no interest to me, Robert.
I'm against gambling. You support it. The police commissioner answers to the mayor, and you're running for mayor. You want me to believe you're not out to get me?
I'm afraid police work is making you paranoid, pal. I'm running for mayor because I happen to care about this city.
If you cared this much about this city, you wouldn't be trying to introduce gambling.
Gambling will produce a lot of revenue for Port Charles, which is my community.
Oh, spare me the campaign speeches. This is a morality issue.
Morality be damned. This town is mine.
Well, it's mine too now. I intend to do whatever I have to protect it. Whatever it takes.
Where do you get off talking about this town being yours? You wouldn't even be here if it weren't for me.
Okay. I won't deny that you introduced me to Port Charles. For that matter, you also introduced me to Holly.
Who?
Maybe that is the real issue here. You now regret both introductions.
I don't regret a thing.
Really? Believe in flying pigs?
I believe stranger things have flown.
Well, just remember, Holly is now my wife. Port Charles is now my city. And I intend to protect them both, regardless of whatever your motives may be.
My motives are none of your damn business. It's amazing. You're coming in here, you're talking like the American Justice League, protecting your fair city. What are you fighting against?
What I'm fighting for is real, and you're undermining everything I've accomplished.
I am so sorry.
So am I. But be forewarned, I'm not going to sit around and condone what you're doing.
I'm not interested in you condoning anything I do.
It's quite obvious you and I don't see eye to eye on anything.
I guess not.
But understand this. You persist in this campaign, I'm going to make life very difficult for you.
You don't even know what difficult is yet, Commissioner.
Robert, can I talk to you, please?
Not now, Tiffany.
I just heard what you and Luke said. I'm very upset about this, please.
Well, I'm sorry. That's the way it is.
Can't you stop this fighting, Robert?
Look, love, accept it. We are no longer friends.
Well, you were friends for a very long time. You know what kind of man he is. I mean, truthfully, don't you think that he's going to make a good mayor?
Not if he supports legalized gambling.
Gambling? Is that all you really think that... Is that all you're really concerned with?
No. I resent him trying to undermine my office.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Do you honestly and truly think that Luke would try to do something, or is it just your own guilt about Holly that's making you think that?
Forget it, Tiffany.
I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry, Robert. That was way out of line. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just can't stand the thoughts of you two fighting like this.
Look, I don't allow personal feelings to influence my position on anything.
All right, then all I'm asking you to do is just look again at the stand that you're taking. Robert, please. I get the feeling that you and Holly are very good these days. I mean, forget about trying to fight Luke, okay? And his memory. Just go on and live your own life, and please, just let Luke live his.
Look, what do I have to say to you to make you believe that this has nothing whatsoever to do with my wife?
I don't know, Robert. I just find it extremely silly that you are trying to fight over this stupid little casino.
Look, I take this issue absolutely seriously. Now, the lines have been drawn.
Oh, please, Robert, don't make me choose between the two of you.
Tiffany, everybody has to take a stand sometime.
Robert, you're being ridiculous. I mean, look at us. We've been friends for a very long time. I mean, we go back a long way.
Just accept it. That's the way it has to be.
Oh, good. You're home. I hope you don't mind. The cleaner said your gray suit won't be ready till tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Luke.
At the casino. He's determined to go through with this.
You knew he would.
Yeah, but I thought I might have been able to talk a bit of reason to him. What a mistake that was. This is going to be a harder fight than I thought.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to all of this.
Neither am I. Because I don't think Spencer is above fighting dirty on this one.
But the gambling is only temporary, isn't it?
Oh, for now. But I know human nature, love. Once these greedy little blighters see all the money rolling in, it'll be hard to dissuade them that gambling won't be good in the long run.
There's still the chance that the people will vote it down in the referendum.
I can't take that chance now, can I?
But it could happen.
What are you trying to say?
I just don't want you getting upset. Maybe it's not worth fighting for.
Not worth fighting for. Listen, I've got more than enough on my plate now than out adding gambling to a great long list.
Well, that's just it. You have already enough to deal with.
Yeah, but none of them more important than this.
Well, maybe if you just let Luke be, the whole thing would blow over. I mean, someone's bound to oppose him for mayor. Maybe he won't win.
What if he does?
What if he does? Won't make any difference. I'm still your wife.
What's that got to do with anything?
Everything, I think. Luke isn't a threat to us anymore. You don't have to do this for me, Robert.
Holly, listen. You're the third person that suggested to me that the only reason I'm out after Spencer is because of you.
Well, I'm sorry.
Now, wait a minute. What does everybody in this town think I do? I run my whole life around thinking of ways to vent my jealousy on one Luke Spencer.
You have no reason to be jealous.
I'm being sarcastic. Look, why doesn't everybody start to listen to me? And stop looking for innuendo and psychological motives behind everything I do.
If it were anyone else running, would you be quite so vehement about all of this?
Bloody oath I would. Look, my job in Port Charles is fighting crime. Now, the best way I know to do that is to keep gambling out. And to that end, that is the only reason I oppose Luke. None other!
There's a woman here. Don't be angry with me.
I'm trying to relax.
You don't look very relaxed.
Well, I was until a few minutes ago.
I was only voicing my wifely concern for you.
Wifely concern?
I'm your wife. I'm concerned, wifely concerned.
This isn't fair, you know.
What's that?
Having this discussion in here.
Me?
Don't you dare.
I mean, you're not angry at me anymore.
How can I be when you're sitting there looking all steamy and delicious?
You could be.
I can't, and you know it. I love you. But you were right about one thing.
I don't care
please,
about being right.
Please hear me out. What I said before about never forming opinions based on you, that's not entirely true. Everything I do in my life, one way or another, involves you. There really wouldn't be much point in my going through life if I didn't feel that you were beside me. I could do it, but it wouldn't mean as much. Holly, I value your opinion, which is why I have to ask you this one question.
Yes?
Come November, who are you going to vote for?
I hardly think that it's anything we should concern ourselves with right now.
What do we got here? Vote for Luke.
Oh, looks like we're going to be hearing a lot about that today.
Well, it's a public place. I hope they've got a permit.
Come on, let's see if we can find a catcher for us.
I want to see them used for children's care centers, for senior citizens, entertainment places. All right, I believe very strongly that the waterfront should be access to a public facility and not a monopoly of private investments. Thank you. All right. As for the rest of the city, I intend to look into every problem in every inner community that you bring to me. And I promise you, if there is a solution, we will find it. Now, I'm not going to go on because you're going to hear a lot from me between now and Election Day. You're going to get sick of me, I promise you. However, you will vote for me because I believe that I am a native son and I believe I know what you want. And my ears are open to you. Now, this is Independence Day. Let's celebrate our independence.
Well, luckily there's
you going to vote for?
Best man, of course.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Very happy. Any comment for the press, Mr. Commissioner?
Oh, I assume you're referring to Mr. Spencer's candidacy, of course.
General consensus has it that it was an impressive speech.
Well, general consensus would have to be right, wouldn't it?
You saying you agree with his opinions?
I agree with the fact that the waterfront needs low-income housing. It's his methods I question.
I don't recall him mentioning any method.
Curious, wouldn't you say?
I don't know. Politicians are always the first to bring up problems and the last ones to offer any solutions.
Unless, of course, they're using the issue to cover up another problem.
I'll take a shot in the dark and say you're referring to this legalized gambling issue.
We all know how much Spencer has at stake there. Now, in my opinion, of course, he's only running for office to assure that the referendum goes through.
May I quote you on that?
Be my guest.
Mrs. Scorpio, do you have anything to add?
I support my husband's position in all matters. Now, excuse me.
Certainly.
Darling? It's funny, I didn't come with this box.
Thank you. It was very kind.
Anything for a vote?
One more for the road. Oh, no onions, please. Thank you. Speaking of onions, when did you start eating onions?
You are, Robert, with lots of onions.
Luke? Thank you, love.
How do I get a dog for the road?
I'll go with you.
Okay.
It is that time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Be seeing you.